Memphis, Tennessee. Depending upon which list you read online, this is either one of the greatest music cities in America or the most dangerous place that I could possibly decide to sleep in the back of my truck. And unfortunately, I've already committed to doing it.
And tonight, we're gonna be stealth camping right in the middle of it all, right downtown where all of the action happens. So we're gonna find this place right downtown, right close to all the action, and we're gonna get the truck set up. Now, I've got a few goals that I wanna do while I'm here. First, find a parking spot right in the middle of down where everybody walks, make sure that nobody knows that I'm in there. Second, we are in Memphis, so I wanna find the best barbecue while I'm here. And third, I have 2 hidden cameras that I'm gonna be able to set up outside of my truck to be able to observe people.
Before I could ever think about sleeping downtown, there was one important thing that I needed to do first. That's right, Memphis barbecue. We are heading to get some barbecue.
All right, I got the brisket, the ribs, the jalapeno corn coleslaw, and the potato slaw.
All right, I found the perfect spot. We are right here downtown, right in the middle of it all. The tricky part is there are a whole bunch of cops right behind me. So in order for me to get this thing set up stealthily, I need to make sure they don't kind of see what I'm doing.
Finding parking downtown turned out to be way harder than I expected. There was a concert going on in the basketball stadium, the streets were packed, and the garages were full, and there were people walking everywhere. Not to mention the cops on every corner, which is not ideal when your plan involves secretly unfolding a mattress in the back of your truck. But eventually, I found it. Right in the middle of downtown, right beside the police officers.
I had to find a spot on the street. I didn't want to park in a garage or something like that. I'm gonna go ahead and start getting my screens and everything set up, and then we're gonna walk around and do some exploring in downtown Memphis, and then we'll be set up and we'll be ready to go to camp here tonight.
Now the first step was covering every window without making it obvious with what I was doing. Because the second somebody realizes that you're sleeping in your vehicle, suddenly everybody starts paying attention. And attention is the enemy tonight.
All right, we have secured our spot. We got everything set up. Now we just gotta wait for the sun to go down before we attempt to get in there. We are in the heart of downtown Memphis, right here on Beale Street.
So while the truck sat there, hopefully looking normal, I walked around Beale Street trying to look like a person with actual plans, which was difficult because everybody was going to bars or the concert, and I was just mentally preparing to brush my teeth inside the back of my truck bed.
The sun has finally started to go down, and as you can see, I'm right here by the truck. So I'm starting to scout out the area because I do have a couple of cameras, my security cameras, that I'm gonna be able to set up for tonight. So I'm kind of scouting out where I'm gonna be able to put those things on my truck and be able to see everything that's going on downtown. The police presence down here is heavy. I checked with one of the officers to make sure that I was in a legal parking spot for the night and I shouldn't have anything to bother me.
The police presence downtown was intense. Officers were everywhere. Streets were blocked off, the barricades were going up, and at one point there were even military police standing on the corners, which is not exactly the atmosphere you want when your entire strategy depends upon remaining unnoticed.
All right, it's getting later here on Beale Street. Things are starting to pick up. All the people are in town for a concert that's happening at the FedEx Stadium where the Memphis Grizzlies play, right at the street. You can see the police presence is very much felt on the street here. So now might be the time for me to go sneak into the camper right now. All right, these are my security cameras. So before I even attempt to try to get inside of the truck, we're gonna get these set up on the outside of the truck so we don't look suspicious. I got my first security camera set up right here in the front window. That'll catch anybody or anything coming through that direction. Now I wanna set up the other one with some Velcro, and I'm gonna take the risk by placing it on the outside of my truck. But I'm gonna put it right up here in this area right here. So we're gonna see how that goes. We're gonna do that now.
The cameras were honestly less about security and more about peace of mind, because once I climbed into the truck, there was no way of seeing out or knowing who was outside. Then things almost went very, very wrong. I was setting up one of my security cameras when a police officer suddenly pulled up directly behind me, and for about 5 full seconds, I genuinely thought this video was over. That was so close, I thought we were busted. I'm standing there and a police officer pulls up behind me and his lights are on, and I was trying to set up my security cameras. I immediately started mentally preparing for the explanation. No, officer, I'm definitely not suspicious. I'm just attaching surveillance equipment to my truck in downtown Memphis at night. All right, there's the view from the back of the truck, and there's the view from the front of the truck. That's gonna allow us to see in two different directions while we're inside the vehicle. It's cooled off enough. I think it's just time to go for it. Make my way in there. Eventually, there was a tiny opening. The officers were distracted. The crowds were moving towards the concert. Nobody was looking in my direction. And I realized this was probably my one and only chance. I got a clear street. I think we're gonna go for it. I'm gonna dive in. Gotta dive in fast though. Okay, I don't think anybody saw me. All right, I'm gonna get everything arranged and kind of get my headquarters set up for the night and make sure that we're good to go. All right, there is the view out the front of the truck. There is the view out of the back of the truck. I don't see any cops coming this direction. They were all over there on this corner and hanging out on the other side of the park over there. So I think we're okay. I went ahead and had dinner while I was downtown, and so I don't need to eat anything. I've got extra empty bottles if anything else needs to be taken care of tonight. But yeah, we're stealth camping downtown in the most dangerous city in America. All right, we are all settled in. This might be the most noisy place that I've ever camped in my life. There is literally, you can hear the bass going on. There's a concert going on like a block away. There's constantly people walking by. We're gonna see how this goes. But I'm telling you right now, if we don't get kicked out of here tonight, I don't know how much sleep I'm gonna actually get. I forgot I should be talking so loud. Almost forgot there for a second. People can be right outside. Every sound suddenly mattered. Footsteps, car doors, people talking outside. And every time somebody slowed down near the truck, I was convinced that somehow they knew I was in here. We're trying not to alert anybody to the fact that we are in here. Might take a peek out the windows when it gets a little bit darker, but I'm gonna have to cut the lights out to do that. So let's go ahead and do that now. Now let's take a little peek out the window. In the exact second that I peeked outside, 2 police cars rolled by immediately, which felt less like a coincidence. As soon as I peek out, there's 2 police cars go by immediately. There's a lot going on downtown Memphis right now. All right, well, we're gonna close this back up so I can turn my lights back on. There we go. It is officially dark outside, so I might wanna cut these lights off because if there's any light seeping out of these things, you're gonna be able to see it. And that might alert somebody to me being back here. All right, guys, I just checked the security cameras. Seems like we're completely undetected so far. So I think I'm gonna try to go ahead and go to sleep, and we'll see if we make it through the entire night without anybody trying to bother us or kick us out. Good night. Once I finally fell asleep, the cameras kept recording. And honestly, I didn't realize how much was happening around the truck until I watched the footage back later. There were people walking past constantly. Some of them got surprisingly close. And every time somebody slowed down near the truck, I wondered if this was going to turn into an awkward conversation. The police cruisers kept circling the area all night, which probably should have made me feel safer. Except technically, I was also trying not to get noticed by them so I don't get kicked out. Downtown Memphis at night is unbelievably loud. There was music, yelling, engines revving, random conversations happening directly outside of my truck. And at this moment right here, this guy pulled up directly behind my truck, and it was probably the closest call of the entire night. He exited his vehicle, he went downtown, and then he came back to his vehicle. And guess what? He went to sleep too, directly behind me in the front seat of his car. Now around 2 in the morning, something changed. The crowd started disappearing, the music got quieter, the streets slowly emptied out, and for the first time all night, downtown Memphis actually felt peaceful. This ended up being the strangest part of the whole experience. A few hours earlier, this street was packed with thousands of people, and now it felt completely abandoned. Just me, asleep in the back of my truck, with a guy parked behind me. Hopefully, nobody knocked on the window before sunrise. Good morning, 6 a.m., We made it. It was super loud last night. I've never slept in such a loud place in my life. So we're gonna go ahead and start unstealthing the back of my truck. We're gonna get out, and the last thing I'm gonna do for this video is I'm gonna make breakfast right here downtown on the back of my truck. Let's go. And somehow, morning finally came. So yes, we successfully stealth camped in downtown Memphis. No knocks, no security guards, no police. Just one extremely loud night in the middle of a city. And honestly, I still can't decide whether this was incredibly stupid or kind of genius. Yeah, it's probably both. Oh, good morning, Memphis. We did it. We successfully stealth camped downtown in the most dangerous city. Alright guys, we did it. We actually stealth camped in the most dangerous city in America. I'm having my coffee. While you're having your coffee, why don't you watch another one of these videos on screen? Please like and subscribe, and we'll see you on the next one.